I'm Annalie Master. Welcome to my Common Sense Living podcast today, where I add common sense and value to your life. Get a pen and paper, because today I have a really special guest, Mirsada Memic. She came here from Bosnia 25 years ago. I met her last year, maybe, at San Antonio Sticker Shock event, and we both spoke on stage, and I was blown away by her story and with all the growth that she has done, and such an inspiration. She is an inspiration to immigrants as well as us natural-born citizens. I admire her so much, so I decided let's have you guys get to know Mirsada. So Mirsada, welcome.
Thank you, Annie, for that beautiful introduction. You are an angel. Meeting you in San Antonio was so special. You made my my day so beautiful. The connections and the things you share with me, the knowledge and the book that you talked about, and healing and trusting your voice. It just opened my heart to you more. You're absolutely amazing. You're just inspiration to me. You know, I seeing you crushing, manifesting your dreams. So thank you so much, Annie, for that beautiful introduction.
You're welcome. Love you. So
I love it too.
So what are you up to now? Are you coming to Sticker Shock this year too, in September?
My passion, I've been invited to speak a couple events. As of right now, I am going to August 19th event where God has opened opportunity for me after sharing my story with the world. Now my story is being published in the books, and I want to say thank you, God. God takes the glory. I always had the way of my plan, how I wanted things to be. And then when I surrendered to the God's plan, miracles started happening in my life. My story is now being shared with the world. And I hope that my story can heal somebody that's listening to this and inspire them to believe in themselves and the dreams and go after everything they believe, everything they wrote down, to go after it with full desire and passion and trust that is already done, because it is done for them.
That sounds so inspiring. So inspiring.
Thank you, Annie.
Yeah. So what do you do? Where are you speaking at for this?
So right now, I'm so excited. Before I got on the podcast with you, I spoke to Emiliano, and I want to say thank you, Emiliano. Met him in San Antonio, Texas, where, oh my God, his energy is contagious. Like,
I know.
I love people like that, the energy they have, like they just bring more joy and happiness. And after sharing my story, like I touched his heart, and now together and with Daniela, where the book is being published, it's called Spiritual Fitness Survivor and Born to Risk. It's also a documentary that's going to be attached to the book. So God takes the glory. And so it's going to happen in August 19, New Jersey. So I'm excited for the event as I'm getting ready, prepared, hoping that God forbid nothing happens so I can go, but I'm really excited to connect, to grow with the audience, to share my story again on the stage. And when I speak on the stage, and like I truly believe that everybody has a gift, but for me, when I speak to the stage, I can feel, I can connect to the audience, because it just brings me a joy and passion to share my wisdom, share my story, because somebody out there is depending on you to do what God has called you to do. And I believe that God put me in this life to do something amazing. So me sharing my story, I hope that inspires people to just trust themselves, to love themselves, to heal themselves, understand that they're perfect the way they are, that God has created them, they're perfect, and they can manifest anything they want. They just have to believe in themselves.
But isn't it kind of true that we're an individual, we get this platter of opportunities, and some take this one, whatever. My look on life, it wasn't evolved. Okay, I didn't grow up thinking like this, but people put me down and weren't very nice to me and stuff like that, and yeah, it hurts. So I can relate to people with that kind of thing, but I thank God for that experience, because I have more compassion for somebody going through it, and then that raises them, and then the knowledge to know things, and how God talks to me. And like with my book, do you have yours available? This is mine, Heaven Sent, listening to your inner voice. And
Beautiful.
And that's all about my spiritual experiences, many of them that I have experienced. And my reason to write that book was so people would know that there is life after this one, because I've seen it. I've seen my deceased grandmother, dad, and my nephew with their hands out at me like that. I go, for me. And I shut my eyes and I opened them and they were gone. Never saw them before, never saw them after. But a week later, I went home to Iowa and saw my mom, who had Alzheimer's, and she'd go, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And she passed 4 months later. But while I was there, I said, Mom, when you see them, take their hand, go with them. They're waiting. We'll be okay. Because you need to give your loved one the permission to go, because they want to, but they want to be staying here to protect you, or if you're the caregiver, to protect you, so you give them permission. And then she passed 4 months later, and it was beautiful. And I wrote her obituary in 15 minutes. I think it would take longer to write an obituary, but it just rolled off. And I know it was all a God-given experience. And I thank him for every experience I have. Even getting on the speaker agenda, he gave me an opportunity. And I could have said yes, and I could have said no. But I said yes. If I'd have said no, I would have always wondered, woulda, coulda, shoulda been. So I have met so many incredible people like you on this journey, and I am so blessed for that. So what else are you doing? I rambled more than I
It's okay. What you shared is very powerful. Life is a test. It's about experiencing. It's about enjoying life. It's about having fun. It's about facing your fears. It's about understanding that our destiny is already created, that God already created our destiny. He has angels and resources and people in alignment, but we must take action on ourselves and our dreams, on our desires, and especially loved ones. Speaking about loved ones, it brought back memories. And I think that my passion and my desire and my drive, what I'm doing, is because of my grandfather. Like, I was at the point in my life where I didn't believe in God. I didn't believe he existed. I was angry at him. I was going through all kinds of emotional things that you can possibly imagine. I was going through low self-esteem, anger, depression, comparison, competition. I mean, everything I was going through those emotions, because at that point in my life, I was lost. I lost somebody I loved so much, my grandfather, and it all brings back the emotions. As a little girl, he saved my life, and I wouldn't be alive here today. And I always say that because I'm alive here today. And so I'm grateful that I'm alive. I'm grateful that I have another day. And I do understand what you said. Your mom, God rest her soul, she passed away, but they're always watching after us. I believe they're angels that are assigned to our life, to our destiny, that take us to each level and different steps in our life. But we must trust God and not to rely on our own understanding, but on his understanding. And as hard it is, life will throw so many tests and challenges and pains and sufferings and attacks and people and negativity and naysayers. It's all part of the journey. And so my main mission is to teach people to love themselves and enjoy the journey, enjoy the process, enjoy your life now. Because if you don't enjoy now, when you have everything you manifested, you're not going to be happy. Because if at the point in your life you're trying to manifest or accomplish your dreams, and you're not happy with the journey and everything is complicated, and you're stressing and you're angry and you're angry at God, then you're basically, that inner child is still hurt, is wounded. And so as you get bigger things, doesn't bring you the satisfaction. But when you're truly happy now in the present moment, and you feel good and you feel those emotions, living in the end result, everything changes for you. So that's my answer, Annie. I think that's so important to be here in the present moment. But we've focused so much on the past, like we focus on this 3D world, on the pain, on the challenges, on the problems, on the suffering. But what if God is the answer? And for me, God is the answer, because I would have never been in the position I am right now. I would never manifest all these dreams, but God takes the glory, because I didn't have the resources. I didn't have most of the things. I'm just a mommy of 2 girls, right? Going after my dreams and wanted to make a world a better place and, support my family. But it's like God sees our hearts and he sees the work within. So it's important to believe in yourself and take that inspired action and allow God to manifest things in your life. Thank you, Annie.
Yeah. Oh yeah, God is the salvation for us. Yes, he's there. He gives us the ideas. Some of us accept it. Some of us just don't even bother. We get caught up in the material things in life, and it's the spiritual things that really matter. And I'm so thankful that I grew up in the country, and I well, we had to drive in order to get anywhere. Other kids that I went to school with, they had a little community, you know, not a town, but a community. And they could all just go next door and whatever. And I felt left out, you know, but instead, I mean, I used to, Easter, this is so funny. Easter, we would get these, I like jelly beans, but those big things like that, and they're filled with white. And I didn't like them. So I would go out in the yard and find an anthill, and I'd cut them in half. And I just watched the ants. That's how I entertained myself, other than pulling weeds, you know, that kind of thing. But I was so in tune to nature. And I knew at 8 years old that I was different. And I felt different. And I knew things. I knew when my boyfriend was going to call when I was a teenager. And 5 months later, he did, you know, things like that. And you didn't say anything like that because that was kind of woo-woo, you know, you're crazy, whatever. So I kept it inside. And one day I read in the paper and I said, oh my God, there's somebody that thinks like me. I'm not alone. And that just blossomed. And I think I was probably pretty close to 50 at that time. I think
that's amazing, Annie. You're
and,
speaking
and,
about
mm-hmm.
you're speaking about trusting and angels and all this that you said is, I think, is very powerful. And as children, we have amazing imagination. With this imagination that it's becoming attraction, it's real. And so I want to share with you what you said. You know, we had more fun, we enjoyed life, but now as a responsibility and life comes, there's no much enjoyment. Most people are so sad, they're depressed, they're angry, they're going through all these kinds of emotions. And it breaks my heart, because what if the answer that you seek are already within you, but you have to step into that, you know, identity, step into that feeling of peace and joy. And so for me, Annie, like when you spoke about angels and God, and because God is the one that is the, you know, supplier of everything, the wealth, everything. For me, I remember a young age, Annie, I don't think I shared this with anybody except a lady I spoke just previous to this video, Leona. And I shared with her when I was a little girl, a big Mercedes Benz was going so fast, and I was trying to cross the street and it hit me. But at that time, I saw an angel in the form of a man in all white. And as you see, I got chills on my body, and picked me up. And not even a scratch, Annie, not even a scratch. That's how I knew I was always protected, and God was always protecting his children, is always protecting us. Annie, I got goosebumps, as you can see on my hands, because for the first time in my life, I saw beautiful light, and I knew that there's more to life. There's more than pain and suffering. There's more than struggle, and there's more than 9 to 5. There's more. And so the more as I got closer to God, because at the point I hated God, so the more I started learning and growing, and then going to that spiritual awakening. My path opened up in 2012 when I went to the spiritual awakening, when everything changed for me. I was like, you're either going to stay in the same place, or you're going to change your life to experience something different. And I want to be the same. I want to be different. And that's when I said, God, I let you in my life, my marriage, in every area of my life, because I know you're real and I know you're there.
Yeah. Wow. I had a friend, and I wrote about him in my book too. He was, he died in the chair at the dentist, and he didn't want to come back, but he did. And he said it was just beautiful on the other side. And I forget how old he was. He told me, but I want to say 16 or something, but I'm not sure. But you know, you tell that to somebody who isn't open to that, and they think you're nuts. And I've had enough of that they just think, oh yeah, what drug is she on, right? Well, I'm proud to say I tried pot once, and this was interesting. This is for all you people that want to try drugs, because you know you don't have to get high on drugs, get high on life. Mirsada and I are. Anyway, I smoked a little bit, you know, the cigarette or whatever you call them. And all of a sudden, something grabbed me in the third eye, and I could not stop laughing. I tried so hard not to laugh, and I'm laughing and you know, whatever. 30 minutes, I was just uncontrollably laughing. And then all of a sudden, you couldn't get me to laugh. You could have tickled me. I wouldn't laugh. And I said, while I was laughing, I wanted so bad to stop laughing. And I said, you could have told me my mother died, and I would have been laughing because I couldn't stop. And I said, oh no, I'm never going to do anything that alters my thoughts like that again. And I never did. I rarely drink. And
the devil is a liar. The devil is a liar, and he wants our life to be painful and challenging, and he wants us to hate God, and he wants us to disbelieve, and he wants us to just feel not worthy of ourselves, that we're not capable of achieving our dreams and desires, that we just have to be that on a low state, a low entity of depression. And when you are on that state of entity of depression, you're feeling angry, that's when they actually attack you more. That's when your thoughts are bubbled up. And it's understanding that we live with invisible forces, and we don't see them, but we know God is here, just like we don't see God, but we know he's here. And the thing is, most of us, when we're feeling those negative feelings and negative emotions, we attach things to ourselves that we're not even aware. And it's like when you are feeling depressed, angry, you're drinking. And when you drink, since to be honest, I have never drank in my life, but I did once when I went to France, to my cousin before she was going to get married, and I had it. And alcohol, it makes you intoxicated, and what it does, it puts you in a low state of depression. It's only short-term happiness, short-term pain reliever. But once you get addicted to something and you use it like a drug, it takes over your body, your mind, and control. But the whole point I'm trying to say is that we should be always in control of our thoughts. And most of us, they don't want us to understand how powerful we are, that we can think and create the results we want in our life, that we are the powerful ones, right? But everything that we've been programmed since we've been children, the environment, the friends, the family, it's not even our family's fault, because these paradigms have been passed down from beliefs to limiting beliefs. And as a child, like I remember as a little girl, Annie, and I'm going to share this with you, there was a belief for me that life is hard, that you have to work and struggle. But that was the belief right after the war, when you lose everything, when you were struggling, when you're watching your parents struggle. And so what do you, as a child, remember? You remember struggle. And so as you get older, these paradigms, these programs inside your body, and most of us were living this program automatically, no matter what age you are. You can be 33, I'm 33, and you not even understand that there's deeper healing that needs to be done and deeper things that needs to be taken care of, because we have this wounded child inside. And so if we don't take care of the wounded child, then we start taking alcohol, drugs, different things to shorten the pain.
To escape.
But it's only temporary happiness.
Yeah, we do it to escape.
Escape.
One of the things how I looked at life, you have the straight and narrow, because that's what my dad would say. You stay on the straight and narrow path, right? Well, my sister did, and she has not lived her life. She was a mom. I never had children, but she had 2 children, and she lost her son when he was 24 back in 1991. And she didn't go anywhere, she just homemaker type of thing. She worked, but just was a mom and a wife kind of thing. Me, I was more adventurous, more the rebel, and I'm glad, but sometimes I wonder, how could we have been sisters? We're so different. But anyway, she did everything. She was the oldest, and she did everything that was expected of her. And me, I kind of tried to get away with something, right? But I look at life as, here's the straight and narrow path. And I would go down it, and I always had my focus on the end game, which really is meeting God. So I would maybe, here's my foot on here, but I step over here. Oh, I don't like it. So I'd take a few more steps, and oh, I kind of like that. Oh, nope, I don't think so. So I'd go forward a little bit more, like that. But I never took both steps off the straight and narrow. And I'm afraid today, some people are so disillusioned with the promise of what money can do for you that they aspire for that dollar bill and really hurt their soul, because our souls really want to be connected and to be helpful. But they are listening to that devil, which money, the chase of money can be a good tool, but it can be an evil. And too many people chase that dollar bill because they think it's going to bring them happiness, because they can buy every material thing that they want, but that doesn't fill their heart. And so they're very unhappy inside. So, okay, now you're an executive, and now you go to the meetings and you drink and you sign a deal and you sell your soul a little bit deeper. But now, no, I'm true blue girl. I'm a good old American gal, country born and bred. I'm a veteran too, and I'm a straight shooter. I'll tell you, even if you don't like what I'm going to say, I'm going to tell you.
I love it, Annie. One thing you said was very powerful. and I feel sad to say this, but it took me years of knowledge and research and studying and healing myself and like understanding that I am perfect, that I don't need no fixing, because in this world, 3D world, we're told that we need to fix ourselves. So we need to do more, we need to do this, but really we need to surrender and love ourselves. And it's really getting to the point where you fall in love with the best version of yourself. And so when you said that to me, it brought back a memory, like when I was younger, you know, and there was after the war and after the struggle and seeing my father work hard, I had to earn my money. I was young, little girl, right? And so when I had to struggle and earn my money, that's how much I was worth. Like based on how many plants or how much I clean, that's how much I was worth. And that's the belief that has been passed down. There's other beliefs that's been passed down to us children, you know, like we're not good enough, we're not smart enough, do this, you know, you're dumb, you don't know how to do this, pick this up. Like, and so it's like, you know, our parents are not aware the words that we're speaking, the thoughts are so powerful. That our thoughts, they create emotion, they stir emotion, they actually send out into the universe. And God, however, he's pure love and joy and happiness and all these amazing things. So when you are focusing on all the negative things, doing all the negative things, and you've been programmed for a long time that you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not worthy enough, you can't achieve, and then these beliefs get once the child starts believing, creates this belief in the heart, then as you get older, you're struggling with love, with depression, with anger, anxiety, and all these things. And so when you talk about the devil is a liar. Also, when we are at the worst times, when we're going through the storms, he attacks us the most. He attacks our mind. He knows that if he can control us in here, in our heart, he controls our mind. And so it's like the thoughts are so powerful, the words we speak to ourselves. And you said your sister and you were different, because I think that God placed us on this earth not to be like everybody else, to be different. There's always that person in the family, that black sheep in the family that's always different, that's always more outgoing, that's more like, and it's good to be different. It's not like when if everybody is the same, it would be boring. Like imagine having same Mirsada every day or same Annie every day. It's just boring. Like it's fun to be different, mysterious, and that's what people get attracted to. And for me, I learned that when you really be you, truly step into the authentic version of yourself, that's when you activate your gifts, the God-given gifts that God given you, your abilities, your knowledge, your wisdom, your power that we have. But most of us, we're not taught this information. We're taught that we have to work hard, that we have to struggle, that we have to work 9 to 5, that we have to earn money, that we have to work hard. When I realized after that memory and really healing that wounded child, I learned that money is just a measurement of value. And you know, rich or poor, we're all gonna go to the storms. It's just a measurement of value. How much service I give to others is how much I'm gonna be paid for. And when you understand that success is personal, success is structural, it's not personal. So you don't attach your failures or rejections or criticism. You don't attach to yourself and you glow from inside. That's how you bring those blessings to you. And so most of us were not taught that God is real, that God is the one that provides, that God is the one that's going to bring those blessings. And we're not taught that because we're always afraid of what will happen the next day, what will happen then. And so we're focusing, the devil is attacking my voice. We're focusing so much on the past, on the problems, on all these things. And that's why most of us were unhappy. We're comparing ourselves, we're judging ourselves, we're criticizing. You can have more than me, but you can be jealous. Sometimes the energy that you have, the light that you have, it irritates other people. And it's like I noticed through this journey, you know, God puts you through these tests to heal you, to process you, to mold you, to show you that it's not what you think. Like it's all lies and illusions. We've been living this 3D dimensional world with a lot of lies. And what if we can just step into that God frequency and understand that rich or poor, you're going to go to the same grave, but it's what you do in this life that counts in that next life.
Right. And that's where, when I look at some of the things that have happened in my life, like I've had 2 divorces, was never valued by the men. Actually, it wasn't valued by hardly any men. They all thought of, I felt they all had one thing in mind, and any adult knows what I mean by that. And so when I'd go to the bar, I went to dance. I didn't drink because I couldn't follow on a lead, right? So I couldn't drink and dance. I'd get out there and just whatever. And I finally took dance lessons and learned how to dance, and I love to dance. But I remember one time I went to the bar and I had a beer and I was going through my divorce, and I still wore my ring because I'm married. And there's 4 guys sitting at the bar and 7 bottles of beer in front of me. They all were, you know, because Iowa law said if you got pregnant while you're married by this guy that you don't know, it's your husband's. He doesn't, he's out of the picture. He's just having his fun and you get to pay the price. Well, and Anyway, and so with the child. But anyway, those 7 beers there, I didn't touch them. I figured if that's how they want to spend their money, throw it away. I don't care. I don't want it, because God gave me the information that, I'm not destined to fall into that little trap, and I didn't. But I appreciate every little nugget of education that God has given me, whether it's been good or bad, because they all come together. Just like I had 3 stepdaughters, and when I said I tried pot once, and they said, "Oh, so you're a user?" And I said, well, I guess technically you could say that, because I tried it once, so therefore I used, right? So remember, whatever you do today will follow you the rest of your life. It will follow you the rest of your life. So be good, because isn't that a nice legacy to have, that she never did things, she was always nice, whatever, always helpful, all that. What a nice thing to say, other than, oh my God, don't go around her, she'll steal the clothes off your back, whatever, set you up for failure. Can you hear the difference, or feel the difference in what I just said, in the vibration in your body? Here you are on all this hopeful glory part, and then all this ugly. You can just feel the high and the low in the energy, can't you?
I love it. It's about balancing your life. It's putting God first in everything. I'm gonna sit down because there's so many beautiful butterflies, so I have to sit down on the grass. I love to ground myself, because that's how connected to God.
Well, you don't want to sit down here in San Antonio, you'll get bit by fire ants.
I love it. God has blessed me with a nice backyard and a lot of amazing things in my life, and He has helped me manifest most things that was only once a dream. But I will tell you this, Annie, and God takes the glory for everything. And even the people that are drinking and going through pain and challenges, God is using them for a certain purpose. That we all have to go. Life is good and bad. It cannot be always beautiful, all the straight line. You have to be good, bad, and the ugly, because we need to. If it's always happy, then you're never gonna. You imagine just staying on one frequency, always happy, but you have to go through some pain and challenges. Like on this journey, I had it all, then I lost it all. Then you talk about money. I worked, so hard. I saved, I pinched pennies. I did it all because I wanted to make something out of myself. I wanted to take care of my kid. And at the point in my life, I did it all, right? And so it's like the money is just a measurement of value. And when you talk about that, where we think that it's going to bring us true happiness and joy, yes, we need it to amplify. It's just going to amplify more of the person we are. And so when we talk about those things, and like understanding that we have to go through pain, we have to go through challenges, we have to go through losing, gaining, because that's how God molds us, heals us, and we get the knowledge and wisdom and intuition and guidance. But when you talk about, even though I'm saying, yes, you have to go on the straight path, there's people out there that are drinking, they're smoking, but they're not bad people. And in the aspect of we're all going through this challenge, and it might be a test for you, you might overcome this, and you might be able to help somebody else. So I think that everybody is on there exactly where they need to be, where God puts them. They have to go through some kind of learning experience. Everybody, to me, it's perfect to God. They're perfect to God. So we have to go to the path of learning, trusting, going through the pain, suffering, because that's how we're going to build a character, build ourselves in life, pass the test, get stronger in everything we do. And I know it's a lot of these people that are hurting and in pain. It breaks my heart, because some of them, they've been abused, neglected as children. They've been going through so much pain. They've gone, with no food, with no different things that experience. And so it's not a child's fault, because listen, Annie, we're born and God said we're perfect, we're rich, we're successful, we have everything. But how do we attract depression, anger, anxiety, all those things that we experience, all the suffering? Well, we are attracted by the things we see, the things we feel, the things we touch, the things we taste. And basically, as a child, you picked up all those wrong beliefs from the people close to you. And it's not their fault either, because your mom and dad, they try the best they can. But it's a paradigm that's been passed down for years and generations to generation. That's why I'm the first generational curse breaking. I'm breaking these paradigms that a woman can do anything. She can be a queen, a goddess, a mother, a wife, a coach, a speaker. I mean, anything. And she doesn't have to be just home and work. And you get to enjoy your life and create the life you want. It's using those thoughts and bringing those thoughts into imagination. And when you said something, we're special, we're all special, we all have the gifts. And for me, is understanding that when you shared, like, everybody has a path. It might be a good or bad path, but exactly what they're experiencing is where God wants them to be. And I think that God uses each pain as a testimony, and He uses that pain to bless others.
Exactly. So whether it's my life that was a painful part, or somebody else is experiencing it, It's a lesson with what's going on in the world with this child trafficking. I give gratitude and thanks to the people that are experiencing the ugly side of life to slap us in the face and wake us up. They have, I told my sister once, I look at life as a contract with God. And we are on opposite sides on that, but I feel like they came in, maybe they knew, maybe they didn't, but this was their experience to do here on earth and to teach us all, to wake us up. They had to go through this. That's just one experience. So I appreciate that they gave themselves that horrible experience so that we would learn, so that we would grow, so that we would do away with that kind of stuff. So it's not like they, even these people that died from COVID. And oh yeah, here I go, I'm going to get censored on this one because I listened to when it first came out and it was experimental. And I wasn't against it until I heard experimental and that the hamsters died. And those people that died from COVID or side effects of it, whatever, I thank them because they filled that part of the journey to wake us up. You know, and that's where I was raised, to think for yourself. You know, don't take face value of anything. Think it through. And critical thinking skills, that's what I call it. And I love it with that. So yeah. So anyway, I think life is a wonderful journey. It's upbeat sometimes.
Oh yeah, it's an emotional roller coaster, but you gotta be
yeah.
stronger than your emotions. And so what happens is most people, they let their mind control them. And I had to learn this. It took me years of knowledge and studying. And actually Dr. Rob Kelly, when he spoke on this about the stage, he like connected to my heart because I've been studying this research for years and I healed myself and I overcome depression, anger, anxiety, loss. I mean, I overcome everything, even suicidal thoughts. So like, this is why this is so important to connect to God, to learn the right information from the wrong, because we've been passed down so much wrong information from the books, from the knowledge, from the powerful people who control the history. And so it's like, even you talk about virus, it's a man-made thing. It's different when we understand and we wake up. And when we wake up, when we really step into the God frequency and we know who we are and that we're powerful and we're here to create and that God is taking care of us, that nothing can stop us or not our destiny, but we're here to create, understand the power we hold within and that we're his creation. And when we can understand the power we hold in, we gain the strength and the knowledge and the worth in ourselves, then we can manifest any dream. But it's so much time that we've been programmed and lied, like from TV to news to media to social media, and it's all these lies that they tell you that you're not okay, that it's not your fault that you're overweight, it's not your fault this, but they deep don't know how the mind programming works. And this is what they knew for years. They knew how the mind programming works, how it can control people through mind persuasion and mind things. And so it's like when you see these things in advertisings and brands and you step into identity and you understand what God created you here to do, and then you wake up and you're no longer in that identity where you're lacking, where you're angry, where when you understand the real truth and God starts sending you intuition and guidance and people and you understand, then you start understanding that there's so much more to life. Like that the depression is, you get to choose if you want to be depressed. You're in control of this here, right? We're control of this here. We're in control of our emotions, but we don't know how to control them. And most people don't know how to control those emotions, and they let the emotions and thoughts and feelings control their life, and then they worry and stress. I'll give you an example. I think I heard this story from a millionaire, and he talked about this woman who was in a relationship with a guy for a long period of time. And for 2 years, she was suffering. She was so angry. She was ruining her life. She didn't take to try something new. She didn't go after her to manifest another guy. She didn't go after her life. She was always feeling sad, angry, depressed. Imagine how much resistance she's created in her life. Imagine how much pain and suffering she created in her life. While she put most millionaires and billionaires and people that I surround myself right now with, they think for a short period of time and they don't suffer. We as people, we're not told this information. So what happens to us is that we think, we process these emotions, we go back in the past, and we bring these awful emotions, awful pains into resistance. And these thoughts that you're living are the same thoughts on repetition that you've been living for years. And what happened to this lady is she didn't take a chance on her life. She didn't try something new. And so she was miserable for 2 years. Imagine 2 years she wasted on a guy that she thought was right for her when God had a better thing for her. And God uses people, resources to remove things that no longer serve you, so he can bring you the best things that serve you. And so it breaks my heart that most people are not aware that how powerful they are, that how they don't love themselves. Like I saw many people, they can't even look at themselves in the mirror and say, I love you. And I've been through that. I went through as a younger girl when people tell me, Mirsada, you're so beautiful. But if you don't feel it inside, no matter what people tell you, it's like, you know, that paradigm, that belief that's been passed down, it's going to play in your life forever until you heal that wounded child.
Yeah, when you're saying about love yourself, look in the mirror and say that. It took me a long time to be able to do that. Growing up in the 50s, I was born in 1950, and growing up in that era, if you know, who do you think you are? You know better than the bum on the street, that kind of stuff. So we were beaten down to begin with. But there again, my parents played the part that they were supposed to play because that's how they grew up. And you mentioned generational curses. Yes, and we all have them. And my niece, she says she's breaking the generational curses. It stops with her, so her kids don't have to go through it. And you know, my great niece is 11 now, I think, but like 6 months ago, I was told that she's already talking suicide. I just can't believe how are these kids thinking like this? I mean, oh my gosh, at 10 years old, I got my last doll.
I feel that because we need to, the environment is ruining our culture, is ruining our children, is ruining everything, because we've been programmed from environment too that we're not capable, that we need to fix ourselves, that we're not worthy, we're not deserving. There's so much that goes into this, the deeper 7 layers of beliefs and deeper root healings that need to be done. But one thing I learned is children, they copy what we do. And so I will be the first generational curse breaker in my family to break the generational curse of the wealth. Like basically the struggle, we went through pain, we went through war, and it's part of the journey, part of the God's plan. But I will be the first one to break that and be the first one in the family to do something completely opposite. Some people might be going through alcohol problem, like, so they're trying, they cannot stop it. But that person, the family, might be the first one to break that generational curse of alcohol or abuse or different things. So we all are here to do God's work. But when we truly fall in love and step into that unknown, it's so hard to step into something unknown when you don't have income, you want to manifest, and you don't see the money, you don't see the success, you don't see the sleepless nights, all the things that we do, and we're trying to manifest something. And so when I started studying and how the mind works and how God works and how God is amazing, it says that we don't see God, but we know he's here. So imagination, most people don't know that imagination is real. What they imagine in here is actually a reality. It's a preview of their coming attraction. God is showing them what they're deserving. But most of us, we think so small. We don't think we're deserving. And so I had to learn that. I had to look myself in the mirror. I had to heal money wounds. And there's still some trauma that is left over in the body that I have to heal. But imagine overcoming all of that. Imagine people knew the key to happiness or the joy, that you can control your emotions and feelings and thoughts and step into that frequency. And joy is something that cannot replace the money. Like joy is something that no matter how much money you have, but if you don't have the joy, this feeling of joy is something so unbelievable. And that's what God gives you when you work on yourself and you heal and you learn who you are and you learn the paradigms and you learn all those things. And I think it's so important to understand that. I love everybody, each person that's watching this, understand that they're powerful, that they have to trust, they love themselves, they have to understand that we've not been taught that way. We haven't been raised that way. And it's not so much that it's our parents' fault because they're part of this as a story. It's for us to now understand and apply this new information and create a new story. So every day we're creating different thoughts, different stories. And so it's like a movie. Your life is a movie. It's what you create in this life, what you imagine in here, that will manifest in here. In reality, 3D.
Yeah.
4D.
Well, I think what's going on in the world now, I feel like I'm sitting back watching a movie. And let me say that this is all the closer the devil can get to me. He can't get any closer than a foot away from me. He's not invited in, and God has put a barrier of his light around me that they can't touch me. The evil can't touch me. They can try. And even if if something happened, evil did something to my family, yes, it would hurt, it would wound me, but I would thank my family for having that contract. And maybe it doesn't make sense to somebody, but that's how it makes life easier for me. So I go with it. I think everything happens for a reason, good, bad, ugly, whatever. And thinking like that, I feel younger because
love it.
I'm not blaming people. I'm looking at it as everything is a journey. Everything I've done, I've learned from. I was in the service. I learned that. I went to Haiti and on a missionary group, and I saw poverty that I had never. I came back to America, and I on the tarmac, I kissed the tarmac, and then I said, "Where's McDonald's?" Because you hardly had anything to eat, because what you ate, you took off the plate of the people that you were there to help. That was an awesome experience that I am so thankful I haven't had to experience in my life. I've been to Puerto Rico. I went to Switzerland to the health clinic there, and that was pretty awesome, and saw the Swiss Alps and was in tapas and stuff and the wine in Milan, and I've done that kind of stuff with money that I have saved up. I enjoyed what money can do for the better, to enjoy that you have money in the bank and hoard it. And so what would you do if you have right today that pretend I'm a millionaire, a billionaire, looking to give $1 million away, Mirsada? What would you do with $1 million I gave you today?
Well, I will tell you that my grandfather is my biggest hero, and I want to be one example of him, and that is to create a world where there's actually more joy, and teach people that they can change their thoughts and their frequencies and energies, and they can love themselves. But here's the powerful part. If I had millions of dollars right now, I would be still doing what I'm doing right now. That would be giving knowledge to people, helping people, paying it forward, feeding children. And I know it's maybe a crazy thing to say, one day I will feed millions of children, but I will, because I had a chance when I went to Europe, and after the war and all the houses are burned and destroyed and everything that we went through that most people haven't seen in their eyes, I've seen. And as a child, seeing those things, I'm very grateful for the life I had and the life I have now. And yes, we were wealthy, we're successful, we had everything, but everything is happening for a reason. It's happening for that plan that God has for you. And so for me, as I already believe that I'm a multimillionaire, and I believe in the identity already, because I have manifested and accomplished things that it would be impossible in the mind, but it's God who takes the glory. And so for me, I will be traveling, speaking, sharing my story, feeding millions of children, even adopting a children. I think it's important to pay forward, and what you do in this world, that you do in God's name, that He's happy with the work you're doing. And so for me, I love teaching people this information. I want people to step out of the matrix, to learn the truth, to understand what it just today, just for 7 days today, Annie, because most of us, we're always thinking negative. We're always focusing on negative. We always say bad things to ourselves. We sabotage ourselves. Every time we reach different levels, we start hating ourselves. But it's a program. It's the ego trying to edge God out. And it's like what it says with this, when you can understand if the feelings and emotions and the thoughts are coming from your ego, or they're coming. And so you understand the difference, and it feels amazing that you know now that you can control that. You don't let those thoughts control you. You don't let the environment, you don't let people, friends, family, nobody, because you're so convinced in God's plan. And so for me, I'm doing everything that I'm doing. Like, I may not be a millionaire, I am a millionaire in my heart. And so my mind is worth millions, billions, and rubies and diamonds. And I believe I'm deserving of endless wealth for the knowledge I have. Imagine teaching people. And right now, there's so many people that are sick. There's so many people that are taking pills. There's so many people in the hospital. They're telling them, giving them pills to fix one thing, but they're damaging another part of the body. All these lies, it's propaganda to make money. And so many people are not aware of these things. And so we're not taught this information. And so we've always been taught saying, I'm not smart, I can't do this and all that. But when you understand the power, I am that I am, and that you're God's creation, and that all the power you need comes through Him. When you understand the power of just repetition as the mother of all skill, and then saying those amazing affirmations to yourself and believing in them, feeling them, you create a new belief in your system that you are worthy, that you are deserving. But they don't want us to know this information. They don't want us to know there's so many ways to reprogram the mind. They don't want us to know that there's, even if you reprogram the mind, they don't want you to know there's deeper healing that's inside. There has to be balance and harmony. Everything has to be in alignment, in the frequency. And so when we learn how to step into frequency, when we learn how to raise vibration, this is the information they don't want us to know. This is why when you share stuff on social media, you stuff out there, because they don't want this information. Annie,
Right.
can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't want the
Cutting out.
information to be shared. Yeah, I think it's the attacking is the
Oh,
attack,
yeah,
the
we know he likes to
negative
attack us.
attacks, all these things. But I think it happens for a reason. But I think my main mission and main message, my main mission and vision is to tell people that they are powerful creators and they're here every day to create their life. Whatever they want, they can have it. But it's different for everybody else. What success means to you is different to somebody else. For me, it might be millions of dollars. For another person, it might be just to feel joy. For another person, to get rid of alcohol. Like everybody has different way of success, what it means to them, right? So imagine just some people just want peace and no stress. And you can do that when we understand the power of the mind, the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions that your brain is a transmitter of frequency. When you understand your power and you step into the authority of the power, that's when your life becomes limitless. You don't care about opinion of others. You just go after what you want, and those things that you want, you just attract to your life.
Right. And if you don't know what you want and you feel you don't have any power, it is so highly suggested that you just talk to whoever your God is, however you name him, if you call him your maker, whatever, just talk to that being that can help you and just get a conversation going, because that's, I think, is how it starts. Just like me wanting to start my course, and I don't know how. I sat outside in God's country on my porch at my garden, and I said, I threw out my thoughts to him and said, you told me I need to do it. You put these things in that'll help me do it, but I need to know the technology part of it, and I'm scared of that. And so help me through that kind of thing. And something will come, whether I all of a sudden can get it through my head, or the right person will come that can help me, whatever. But it's got to start with you asking from within. It's got to start with you wanting to change, not liking what's going on in your life, and realizing that, yes, every day challenge yourself to look in the mirror and say, I love you. I can see myself right here and say,
high five, Annie.
I love you. Do that again.
Of course, it's a high five. I love it, Annie, because I from now, I think it was Mel Robinson that talked about everyday high-fiving yourself instead of saying to yourself, you're not doing this, you're not doing it right. We're so much bad. We're so mean to ourselves. Like, we're so mean to ourselves, yet we compliment others, but we're so mean to ourselves. So when you start like loving yourself and slowly building that love with yourself, and it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work because of paradigms. But when you start doing that, you're going to see how much happier and less peaceful you feel. And when you connect to God and you ask him for the answers, because my problem was I put God, because I was so angry at God, Annie, and I put him last because he took my grandpa away. So I was angry at him. I was mean. I was bitter. I was angry. I was nice, but I was bitter inside. And so when I learned that God, look at the wind, God, I love you. When I learned that he's the supplier, that he's the one that brings life, takes life, when I really connected to him and started speaking to him, because I thought the answers and the success is going to come from people. Because I thought maybe if I do more, maybe if I study more, maybe if I read more books. Yes, I'm educated so much in different backgrounds now because I have a lot of knowledge. And I don't, some of the stuff I'm like educated doctors are, and I don't have a certificate for which I'm getting certification right now. But the thing I want to share with you is that when we speak and we write those things and we listen, because most of us, we want the answers, we want it right away, but it's not our time. It might take 3 years, 10 years, 15 years. Every journey is different. But we need to take a pen and paper and get clear on what we want. Most of us, we don't know what we want. And so when we don't know what we want, we attract feelings of not wanting things. We don't know what we want. We don't know what color, what taste, what smell, but all these things. We're not clear on where we're going. So of course, we're not going to know where the result we're getting. So we're uncertain of the results. And so when you're clear on where you're going, you know what you are, you know your mission, you know your vision, you know what you want to accomplish, you want God to be happy. When you're really clear, that's when the results appear.
Yeah, that's true. It's like you don't eat the whole candy bar at once, you eat it bite by bite. And
take a baby step.
Yeah, and savor each bite. And nuts. Oh, I don't like nuts. I'm allergic to nuts, whatever. Spit it out, because not everything fits at this time. It might fit later, but maybe not right now.
And you feel the air, the breeze of air that I feel right now, like what I'm sharing with the world. I know that somebody out there is going through pain, going through challenges. I want to just tell you, God is real. And I want to give you hope that most of us, we don't, when we ask God for things, we want it right away. But what if we actually start being thankful for what you have? And you know what God said? if you are grateful for the little things you have, I will bless you with more.
Yes,
I will
that's
bless
true.
you with more. Look at the chills I got on my body.
Yes, yes.
So when I started being grateful for my family, being grateful for the little things I have, He multiplied my blessings. And maybe I didn't receive it in a way I thought I was going to receive it. But then when you imagine strangers blessing you, sending you blessings, sending you things, then I must have done something right. But it's not to show that I'm the one, it's showing that God is. And so God is using me to show people that He's speaking through me. He's basically teaching me these things. And none of these things, there's no knowledge or ability that I would have able to manifest any. It's God, right? And so like God is so powerful, so amazing, the all hearing, the all knowing. He sees us, He's always with us, and we might not even think it's there, but He's using that pain for your testimony. He's using your pain to create that new identity. He's using your pain to teach you something that you don't know. You might not know it now, what He's trying to teach you, but it took me 12 years a journey to be the person I am today. And I will not change. I don't compete, I don't compare, I don't judge. And I see people making millions and billions more than me and all the things, but I am so happy with my life that I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change it. And so it's important to understand that feel the feelings, feel the joy of now, be happy in the present moment. And God says, you're grateful for what you have, He'll continue blessing you. He'll keep you away from losing your home. He'll keep you away from being on the streets. He'll keep you away because faith is what activates and destroys fear. It's faith that breaks the mountains. It's faith in like the things that you cannot see, but you have this crazy delusional faith. And this is why these people who are successful millionaires and billionaires and the people that God has aligned my life that taking me to the next level journey, they don't think like we think, Annie. They don't think, we think too small. Like they believe and they creating every day and they don't suffer and they don't focus on the pain. And they just keep moving forward because they know success is structural. It's a plan. It's not personal. It doesn't have to do anything with them. And so for me, Annie, the world that's watching this and together we're sharing this, it reminded me of you, Annie. Do you remember when you were on the stage and you stumbled upon the stage? And you almost like, and that was part of the plan, part of the speech.
My intro. Yeah.
Yeah, but most people, they stumble and they fail and they fail and they give up. But what would happen? Even I pushed through 12 years when I was rejected, when I had pain, when I lost money, when people made fun of me, but look at now, like everything happens now. And those people that did that now, they're inspired, they get inspired, but it takes time. It takes time because every person is not ready. Like there's a train that God gives you and not everybody's going to jump on that train. But I had to learn that. Like I thought I could bring everybody with me, friends, family, everything. But why would God give those people to come with you if they weren't there on part of your journey where you suffer, where you went through pain? So He's protecting you. Rejection is God's protection. He's healing you, protecting you for the blessings that are coming. And so it's understanding we push away our blessings by jealousy, by greed, by envy, when we compare to ourselves, to our family, cousins. And you have to overcome that. Like every successful person I've met has some kind of a little bit of jealousy or envy, a little bit of like, because we are still working on ourselves and we're working till the day we die. We're still students and we're always learning.
Yep.
And there's no shortcut to life. There's no secret to success. It's an emotional roller coaster, but you got to be stronger. You got to be resilient. You got to be consistent. You got to push through the pain and you got to pose and show up even when you are in the worst pain of your life, because people out there are watching. And this is how I was able to manifest, not manifest, in an aspect of build that relationship, build that love, so people get to know a real you. And so it takes time, it takes effort. And so anyway, when you stumbled on the stage, most people, when they stumble, they give up, they fail, they invest, they see the investment is not working and they give up. But you see, life is one. Money comes and goes, money circulates, is a measurement of value. So what you spend on you, when you invest in you and you understand your worth, that's when you can attract the blessings. Because if you don't invest in you, we don't take care of you, we don't do your makeup, you don't do your hair, like you don't do on your brand, you work slowly on it. And I'm slowly working because I'm a mom. I love it, but you are your brand, Annie. So you might love simple. I might love glamour. Everybody's different, but when you really fall in love with yourself and your brand, that's what attracts people to you. That's what blessings come to you, because you don't chasing. They attract.
And this is what cracks me up. They talk about brand and 3 colors and this and that. And I said, you can't brand me. How do you brand authenticity and integrity?
Yes.
That's what I stand for. I mean, this morning I was even thinking I've got farmer bib overalls. That's part of me, I mean, that's my gardening part. And then, or, blue jeans kind of gal. I was always a blue jeans kind of gal. Yeah, I like to dress up too, but I'm inside, I'm really a humble person.
Oh, me too, Annie. Like I will never forget where I was and where I am now. and all the pains and challenges that God put me through. And I love him for everything.
Yeah.
One thing I will tell you, Annie, is my phone is going to die very soon. So
Okay.
I want to just finish it off with some beautiful message for the people.
Yes, because I think it's probably time anyway, but yeah, that sounds good.
Forgive me, Annie, because I'm here in my backyard. It's gorgeous. What I wanted to share was, and this is, I'm just going to speak through what God shared with me, is that we must have the faith in the things we cannot see. We must not rely on our own understanding. And we don't know the steps how we're going to get there, but look at yourself, all the things you overcame. Look at the challenges that you were in previous position and how strong you came out of them. Look at the breakthroughs you came through your life. So look at all the things you have, and don't ever, God says, at least this is what I'm sharing from my heart. God says, love yourself like you love your neighbor. So be good to others. And if you help enough people get what they want, you get what you want. But that means, really caring for others, paying it forward. We're all brothers and sisters, and it's this world stuff competing against one another. Start more love, sending more love to one another, helping one another in time of support and need. And when you're building and growing by yourself, ask for help. It's okay to ask for help. And I needed to learn that. So I want to tell you, it's okay to ask your help and find the right coach and mentor, somebody that has the life that you have. Be careful who you invest, but find a mentor that has the life you have, and then model that person and model their life.
Good words. Good words. Well, Mirsada, I'm so happy we had this conversation today. And I think 6 months or so down the road, we should have another one just to keep people up to date on what we've accomplished and what they can accomplish by just listening to the encouragement.
Inner voice.
Yeah.
Trust your inner voice, Danny. You said it in the book. Your inner voice dictates you. It's the emotional guidance system that tells you if you are in alignment with your heart and your dreams. But most people cannot activate that yet. And it takes time to activate that intuition, that voice, that the downloads that God gives you. And so when we can really step into that and feelings of it and live from that point of that is done, that is already take care of your destiny, is done.
Yeah.
That's
good advice
when
today.
Life changes. And so if you open a store, I didn't know how I was going to be a coach. I didn't know any of those things, but I trusted God and I took the steps. Annie?
I never thought I'd be a speaker. I never thought I'd write a book. I find I love writing. English was my favorite topic, but I think we need to save this for another time, because I think well, of course, we got cut out a few times, but anyway, I want to thank you for being on the podcast today and sharing such wonderful insights. Yeah. And I look forward to seeing you again, and good luck with your coaching and all that. And I'd like to thank the audience for tuning in to Common Sense Living Podcast today. And I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Mirsada as much as I did. And stay tuned for the next podcast coming up. And with that, let's see. Yes, I'd like you to leave a kind review and share this. Please share this message with everybody you know, because it's so heart-centered, heartfelt. So with that, I'm going to say toodaloo. Have a good day. Bless you all.
Bye, everyone. Have a blessed day from me and Annie. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for tuning in to my Common Sense Living podcast today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm sure you learned something new. Please leave a kind review and share this episode with a friend. And be sure to subscribe yourself. You'll find me on iTunes, Spotify, and other platforms. And don't forget, we'll be here again next week with another insightful episode of Common Sense Living. I can hardly wait.